The cold metal shackles around Elias Vance's wrists and ankles clinked with every step he took. The echo of his chains bounced off the walls of the enormous hall, making it feel even emptier and more intimidating. He had been brought here blindfolded, through endless corridors filled with strange, glowing symbols and alien carvings that pulsed softly with light. Each step made his stomach twist with anticipation. He did not know what awaited him, but he knew it would change everything. Finally, the blindfold was removed. Elias blinked, overwhelmed by the sight before him. The hall stretched far above him, a cathedral of living crystal. The walls were translucent, revealing flowing shapes of light and color that seemed alive. At the far end, sitting on a throne that seemed carved from a single enormous gemstone, was the alien queen. She was unlike anything Elias had ever seen. Her body shimmered with shifting colors, and her head bore crown-like tendrils that seemed to sway even though there was no wind. Her eyes were huge, almost liquid, reflecting every color of the hall. She radiated power and intelligence, but also curiosity. And as his eyes met hers, a strange sense of recognition flickered across her face. Elias tried not to let his fear show. Humans were supposed to be expendable in situations like this. They were often considered inferior by other intelligent species. But he had one advantage: he knew her language. He took a deep breath and stepped closer. "Greetings, Queen Melara," he said, his voice steady despite the chains. He carefully pronounced the words in her native tongue, each syllable precise. The hall went silent. Aliens in the court, towering beings with translucent skin and luminous eyes, froze mid-motion. Their attention and the attention of the queen herself shifted entirely to him. The air felt charged, as if the hall were holding its breath. Melara rose slowly, her massive frame towering even higher. Her eyes locked on Elias, wide with shock, as if she could not believe what she was hearing. The court murmured softly, but none dared interrupt. She took a few careful steps forward, her movements both graceful and commanding. Elias' heart raced. He knew that recognition in her eyes could mean life or death. He had studied her language for years, analyzed recordings of her speech, and memorized subtle tonal patterns that most humans could never understand. And now it had worked. She recognized him. "Elias Vance," she said, her voice resonating like a song through the crystal hall. It was beautiful, melodic, and incomprehensible to anyone who did not know her tongue. "It is you," Elias swallowed. "Yes, your majesty, it is me." The queen paused, as if trying to remember something from long ago. Her glowing tendrils flickered with what looked like excitement. For a moment she studied him silently, and Elias could feel the weight of her attention pressing down on him. Then slowly she gestured to the guards. "Remove his shackles," she said, her voice carrying authority that left no room for argument. The guards hesitated, exchanging uncertain glances, but they obeyed. The metal cuffs fell away with a heavy clank, leaving Elias free for the first time since he had been captured. Relief surged through him, but he stayed calm, bowing slightly in respect. "You remember me?" Elias asked cautiously, trying not to reveal the mixture of hope and fear in his voice. Melara stepped closer, her eyes never leaving his. "Yes, you spoke the words that saved many of my people. I have never forgotten." Elias nodded. Memories of that day came rushing back. Years ago, he had been part of a human-alien research team. They had discovered a deadly infection spreading through a remote alien colony. Communication had broken down, and only Elias, with his knowledge of alien linguistics, had been able to translate the crucial warnings that saved the colony from extinction. He had never imagined the queen herself would remember him, or summon him years later. "You have grown," she said softly, almost as if she were speaking to a child she had once known, "and yet you still carry the same voice." The court remained silent, watching this exchange with curiosity. Elias realized that this was not just a reunion, it was a test. He needed to show them that humans could be trusted, that they were more than fragile beings. "Your Majesty," he said, "I am honored to stand before you. I wish only to help as I did before." Melara's tendrils flickered again, this time in what seemed like approval. She gestured for him to follow her through the hall. The walls glowed brighter, revealing a network of chambers and walkways above and below, alive with flowing light and soft hums that resonated in Elia's chest. As they walked, Melara spoke quietly, her voice almost a whisper in his mind. Humans could not fully understand her language yet, but the emotion carried across: curiosity, gratitude, and a desire to test his intentions. Elias felt a deep respect for her, not just as a queen, but as a being of incredible intelligence and sensitivity. "You saved lives," she said finally. "But now the stakes are higher. My people face challenges that even your words cannot fix alone. We must see if your kind can rise to the occasion." Elias nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. "I will do everything I can to help." They entered a large chamber filled with light and strange floating structures that seemed to hum with energy. Aliens of various shapes and sizes worked at stations that defied human comprehension, their movements precise and harmonious. Elias could feel the intelligence in the room, and he realized that these were not just workers. They were scholars, engineers, and diplomats. Melara turned to him. "I have called you here because you are human, and yet you are exceptional. My people have long doubted humans, but you have shown us something rare: understanding, ingenuity, and courage." Elias felt a surge of pride. Humans were often underestimated, considered weak or simple by other species. But here, in the presence of a queen and her court, he realized that humans had something no other species could match: empathy coupled with creativity and the courage to act when it mattered most. Suddenly, one of the court members approached, a tall being with translucent wings and multiple eyes. It spoke rapidly in its language, and Melara responded. Elias struggled to understand, but he sensed the tension in the exchange. Some of the aliens were questioning his presence. They doubted humans could truly help, despite Melara's trust. Elias swallowed his fear. This would be the real test, not just his ability to speak or translate, but his ability to show humans worth through actions and insight. Melara noticed his hesitation. She reached out a glowing hand, her touch warm despite the strange texture of her skin. "Do not fear," she said. "You are here for a reason. Show them what your kind can do." Elias nodded again, taking a deep breath. The journey had begun. He was free of his shackles, but the real challenge was only just starting. The queen had recognized his voice, but now he had to prove that humans were worthy allies, and that he could bridge the gap between two very different worlds. As he looked around the glowing chamber, Elias realized something profound. This was more than survival. It was a chance to show the universe what humans could truly achieve. And for the first time in his life, he felt that the future was in his hands. The alien queen studied him one last time, her eyes bright with curiosity. Then she turned and moved deeper into the citadel, gesturing for Elias to follow. With every step, the halls seemed to pulse with life, and the sound of chains was replaced by the hum of possibility. Elias walked forward, not as a prisoner, but as a bridge between species. And he knew that whatever lay ahead, the first step had already been taken. He had spoken the words that mattered most. Words of respect, understanding, and connection. And the alien queen had stood up for him. Elias followed the alien queen, Melara, through the glowing corridors of her hive city. The walls shimmered like liquid crystal, and soft lights floated through the air, moving like fireflies. Every step seemed to echo with meaning, as if the hall itself was aware of their presence. Elias could hardly believe he was walking freely, no longer bound by the heavy metal shackles that had reminded him of his vulnerability just moments ago. Melara moved gracefully, her glowing tendrils brushing against the light around them. Despite her size and power, her steps were soft, almost delicate. Elias tried to keep pace, aware that every move he made was being observed. Even now, he felt the eyes of her court on him. "You speak well," Melara said, her voice calm and melodic. "Few humans could pronounce the ancient words of my people correctly." Elias bowed slightly. "I studied your language for many years, Your Majesty. I wanted to understand, not just translate." Her tendrils twitched in what Elias assumed was curiosity. "You wanted to understand, not just to save your skin." He nodded. "Understanding is the only way to help, and I helped your colony once, though I never imagined I would meet you again." The Queen's eyes shimmered with something he could not name, gratitude perhaps, or recognition. "I have not forgotten. Your voice carried life to those who would have perished." Elias swallowed, the memory of that day coming back in vivid detail. He had been young, nervous, and unsure if he could get the translations right. The colony's people had been panicked, their messages garbled, and the infection was spreading faster than anyone could contain. Only his understanding of subtle linguistic patterns had allowed him to interpret the warnings and instruct humans on how to provide help in time. He had saved thousands of lives, some of them he had never even met. Yet here, before Melara, it was no longer just a memory. It was living proof that humans could matter in the eyes of a species far more advanced than their own. As they walked, Melara led him to a chamber overlooking a vast network of towers and floating structures. The alien city spread endlessly, alive with movement and color. The buildings themselves seemed organic, growing and shifting with purpose. Elias felt a mixture of awe and humility. Humans had built great cities, yes, but nothing like this. This place was alive. "These towers," he said slowly, "they're growing." Melara tilted her head. "Yes, my people are one with the city. It responds to us and we respond to it. Harmony is necessary. Control is unnecessary." Elias' mind raced. Harmony, response, intelligence. He realized that these beings had an understanding of life, of society, that humans had only begun to grasp. Yet he reminded himself humans had something aliens sometimes lacked: unpredictability, creativity, and courage in moments of uncertainty. "Your people are incredible," he said. "I have never seen anything like this." Melara regarded him silently for a moment, then spoke. "And yet some in my court doubt you, they doubt humans." Elias felt a small jolt of anxiety. "Why?" he asked carefully. "I have shown nothing but respect and understanding. Surely that counts for something." "It counts for much," she said. "But some fear what they do not understand. They see your kind as fragile, impulsive, limited. They do not see the strength in subtlety, in intellect, in empathy." Elias nodded. He knew that prejudice existed among humans, too. He had spent years bridging gaps between cultures, species, and languages. And now, he would need to bridge another, between humans and aliens. The Queen moved closer, her tendrils brushing lightly against the glowing walls. "There is a crisis," she said softly, though her voice carried the weight of authority. "My people face challenges that require more than tradition and instinct. We need new perspectives, your perspective." Elias' heart skipped a beat. "My perspective?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "Humans see differently. You think outside patterns that bind us. You have ingenuity, you have courage." He felt a flicker of pride, but he also felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. "I will do my best, Your Majesty." "But you must tell me, what is the challenge?" Melara paused, then guided him to a raised platform in the chamber. From here, Elias could see the city in its entirety. "A faction of my court is opposed to my openness to humans," she explained. "They believe your kind is too dangerous, too unpredictable. They demand proof that you can contribute to our survival without harming us." Elias thought quickly. "Proof? We can show them proof." "How?" she asked, her luminous eyes narrowing slightly. "Through collaboration," he said. "A challenge that requires both humans and aliens working together. Something that cannot be solved by your people alone, nor by us alone." Melara studied him for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps it is time for your kind to show what humans are truly capable of. The queen led him deeper into the hive, toward a chamber filled with strange devices and glowing maps. Elias recognized some patterns from previous studies, stellar charts, energy grids, and data streams, but there were others he could not immediately decipher. The aliens had integrated knowledge, art, and engineering in ways humans had never imagined. One of the court members, a being with translucent wings and multiple luminous eyes, approached them. It spoke rapidly in its native tongue, gesturing toward Elias. Melara responded, and Elias felt a tension ripple through the room. This was a test, he realized. The court wanted to see if he could understand alien logic, alien priorities. He stepped forward carefully. If you wish to judge me, allow me to propose a solution to a problem of shared interest. Let us work together. I am confident humans and aliens can achieve what neither can alone. The room fell silent. The winged alien tilted its head, considering him. Then Melara spoke. Very well, show us. Elias' mind raced. He studied the charts, the devices, and the patterns around him. There is a way, he said slowly, to stabilize energy flow across your city and protect it from sudden surges. Your systems are brilliant, but they are predictable. My perspective is different. I can propose an adjustment that balances your energy in ways that prevent collapse and increase efficiency. The aliens murmured among themselves. Some tilted their heads in interest, others in skepticism. Elias did not falter. He began drawing simple diagrams in the air, combining human logic with alien symbols. Slowly, the court began to see the solution he proposed. It was elegant, simple, yet effective. Melara's tendrils flickered with what Elias took as approval. You see, she said to the court, humans are capable of insight, creativity, and solutions we might never consider. A ripple of whispers moved through the chamber. Even the skeptics could not deny the clarity and effectiveness of his proposal. Elias felt a surge of confidence. This was the first step. If he could show them the value of humans through intellect and collaboration, he could begin to build trust. As the session ended, Melara spoke quietly to him. You have impressed them, Elias, but the path is not yet clear. Challenges remain. You must show more than intellect. You must show courage, empathy, and understanding. Elias nodded, realizing that this was only the beginning. The court would test him in ways he could not yet imagine. But for the first time since being shackled, he felt hope, not just for himself but for humans. They were capable of greatness. They could earn respect across the stars. As he left the chamber, walking alongside Melara, Elias felt a strange sense of purpose. He was no longer a prisoner. He was a bridge between species, a living example of what humans could achieve. And he knew that the Queen's recognition of his voice was only the first step in a journey that could change the course of interstellar relations forever. The alien Queen glanced at him. Walk with me, Elias. Show them the potential of your kind. And he did. The corridors ahead glowed with possibilities. Every step was a challenge, yes, but also an opportunity. For the first time, Elias truly understood what it meant to be human in a universe that had often dismissed his kind. And he was ready to prove that humanity could rise, through thought, courage, and heart. Elias walked beside Queen Melara through a wide chamber that hummed with quiet energy. The air was alive with colors that shifted slowly, almost like a living painting. Towers of light and crystalline structures rose around them, their surfaces pulsing in time with the heartbeats of the alien city. You will face a challenge, Melara said, her voice calm but firm. It is not a test of strength nor of speed. It is a test of mind, of vision, and of trust. Can your kind prove that humans and aliens can work together? Elias' pulse quickened. He had expected obstacles, yes, but a challenge that measured intellect and cooperation. This was the kind of test he could handle. "I will do my best, Your Majesty," he replied. Melara's eyes shimmered, reflecting light from the walls. "Good, follow me." They entered a large chamber, wider than any hall Elias had seen. In the center floated a massive structure of interlocking rings and geometric patterns, glowing softly with energy. It hovered midair, spinning slowly as if suspended by invisible threads. Around it, holographic projections displayed streams of data and alien symbols he could barely recognize. "This," Melara explained, "is the core of insight. It is ancient. It contains knowledge, history, and patterns that guide my people's decisions, but it is incomplete. Some records are missing, damaged, or encrypted. If the core falters, our society suffers. Your task is simple to state, but complex to achieve. Restore the missing links and demonstrate the value of humans in collaboration with aliens." Elias studied the core. It was beautiful and intimidating. He could see the mathematical precision of its patterns, the layers of symbols stacked like a three-dimensional puzzle. Some parts followed logic he understood, others defied it, shaped by alien thought processes far different from human reasoning. "You will not work alone," Melara added. "A team of aliens will assist you. You must convince them to trust your ideas or the task cannot succeed." A group of alien scholars stepped forward, their wings fluttering gently, eyes bright with curiosity and doubt. One of them, taller than the others and with a deep green glow, approached Elias. Its voice was melodic, complex. "You are human," it said. "Explain why you deserve to touch the core." Elias held his ground. "I may be human, but I have studied your patterns. I understand your logic and your culture. If you allow me to participate, I can offer perspectives your people might not see. I can combine human reasoning with your knowledge to solve the missing links." The alien tilted its head, its many eyes blinking. It did not speak further, but Melara intervened. "Trust him. Watch how your knowledge and his understanding together can restore what was lost." Elias stepped closer to the core. Its energy pulsed in waves, and he realized that each ring was a problem waiting to be solved. Some rings contained logic sequences, others contained historical data or symbols representing ideas. Humans were flexible thinkers capable of lateral thinking, and he knew this would be the key. "Look," he said to the aliens, pointing at one sequence of floating symbols. "This pattern repeats, but there is an exception here. If we follow your usual method, the core will never complete this sequence. But if we approach it this way," he demonstrated a solution, combining human abstract logic with the alien symbol system. At first, the scholars hesitated. Then slowly, the rings of the core began to shift. Missing sequences filled in, and new light spread through the floating structure, cascading across the chamber like sunlight through water. A murmur ran through the group. The aliens' expressions softened, their skepticism fading. They began working alongside him, taking his suggestions, adjusting their own approaches, and watching as the core responded. Elias felt a thrill of accomplishment. This was humanity at its best, creative, collaborative, and courageous when faced with uncertainty. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed to bend in the glowing chamber. Elias and the aliens moved as one, solving puzzles that seemed impossible at first. Sometimes he proposed an idea and the aliens refined it. Sometimes they proposed an idea and he helped simplify it using human intuition. The synergy was astonishing. Finally, the last missing link appeared, a golden symbol that floated into place and completed the core. A wave of light radiated outward, filling the chamber, and the core pulsed once, then settled into a steady glow. It was complete. Elias stepped back, breathing heavily but smiling. The aliens were silent for a moment, as if processing what had just happened. Then one by one they began to murmur words of admiration. The green glowing scholar approached him and extended a hand, or something like a hand. "You have shown us possibilities," it said slowly. "Your kind is remarkable." Melara's voice echoed through the chamber. This is only the beginning. You have restored the core, but now you must show empathy, judgment, and trust. The core is not just logic, it reflects the heart of my people. Can humans honor that heart? Elias nodded. I understand, Your Majesty. I will do whatever it takes. The queen studied him, her glowing eyes reflecting pride and curiosity. Your actions today have inspired my court, but inspiration alone is not enough. You must act where decisions matter most. Suddenly, the core projected a vision of the city, highlighting areas that needed attention, energy imbalances, resource shortages, and zones at risk of collapse. Elias realized that the challenge was far from over. He had solved the puzzle of the core, but now the real test awaited, applying knowledge to prevent catastrophe and ensure harmony. He turned to the alien team. We need to act quickly, he said. We cannot rely on patterns alone. We must combine our reasoning with observation and creativity. Each of you has strengths. Together, we can stabilize the city. The aliens listened, some nodding, others skeptical but willing. Elias directed them, showing simple adjustments to energy flows and resource allocations. He explained why certain actions would prevent overloads, how small interventions could ripple through the system to produce balance, and why human intuition could complement alien logic. Hours passed, but this time it was action, not theory. Together, they adjusted the core's outputs, monitored effects, and made rapid decisions. Slowly, the city's hum shifted, becoming steadier, more harmonious. Light flowed evenly through towers and bridges, floating structures stabilized, and the city thrummed with life, perfectly balanced. Finally, Elias stepped back, exhausted but elated. The alien scholars looked at him with new respect, their skepticism gone. The green glowing scholar spoke again. Your kind is not only capable but necessary. Without you, this could not have been achieved. Melara approached, her tendrils brushing lightly against the core's glow. Elias, you have shown courage, intellect, and collaboration. The court has witnessed what humans can achieve. You have proven that your kind is more than mere survival. You are partners in thought and action. Elias felt warmth flood through him. For years, humans had been underestimated, their creativity and empathy dismissed by other species. Here, in the heart of an alien civilization, he had demonstrated that humans could rise to challenges that others thought impossible. The Queen's eyes held a glimmer of satisfaction. There are still many trials ahead, Elias, but today you have restored trust and shown the value of your kind. Remember this. Humans are capable of greatness because you act with heart and reason together. That is what makes your species strong. Elias bowed. I will not forget, Your Majesty, and I will continue to act with heart and reason as long as I am able. The chamber filled with soft light, glowing even brighter than before. The core pulsed steadily, a living testament to the collaboration between human and alien minds. Elias realized that he had crossed a threshold. He was no longer just a visitor or a guest. He was a trusted ally, someone whose insights and judgment were valued across species. Melara extended a glowing hand to him. Walk with me, Elias. There are greater challenges ahead, and together, humans and my people will face them. Elias took her hand, feeling the strange warmth of her being, and nodded. He knew the next trials would be harder, more complex, but he was ready. Humans could rise to any challenge, not through strength or weapons, but through intelligence, empathy, and courage. And for the first time in his life, Elias felt that humanity's true potential was being recognized, not just by humans, but by beings from worlds far beyond their own. The Queen's eyes glimmered as she led him back through the glowing corridors, her tendrils brushing the light-filled walls. Elias followed closely, thinking of the humans waiting outside, the alien court watching, and the possibilities that lay ahead. Together they would face what no one could face alone. He was ready. Humanity was ready. And the universe would see the strength that lay not in force, but in understanding, ingenuity, and heart. Elias walked beside Queen Melara through the city's central tower. The glowing corridors, alive with pulsating light and color, seemed more vibrant than ever. The core of insight had been restored, and the city thrummed in perfect harmony. Yet Elias knew that their success so far was only preparation. A greater challenge awaited. Melara's voice broke the quiet. Elias, the test is not over. A natural event threatens my people. A stellar storm approaches our system. If unchecked, it will disrupt energy flows, damage infrastructure, and endanger lives. Elias felt a shiver of urgency. Stellar storms were unpredictable, and even with alien technology, the damage could be catastrophic. "How much time do we have?" he asked. "2 cycles of the primary star. Less than Earth's 48 hours, Melara replied. Her voice was calm, but her glowing eyes betrayed concern. "Your kind must act alongside us. We need human creativity, adaptability, and courage." He nodded, feeling both the weight of responsibility and a surge of determination. Humans had survived countless challenges on their own world. Now, they had a chance to demonstrate that their ingenuity could protect life across the stars. They reached a large observation platform, overlooking the city and the surrounding planetary system. Beyond the glowing towers and floating structures, a storm brewed in space, vast waves of plasma and energy, twisting and glowing in chaotic patterns. The sight was terrifying, even from this distance. Melara gestured at the core's holographic projection. "Our energy grids are vulnerable. We cannot shield the city completely using our standard methods, but you may see a solution we do not." Elias examined the projections. The energy flows of the city and the surrounding planetary shields were intricate, almost organic. Every adjustment had a ripple effect. A small miscalculation could overload systems and cause cascading failures. His mind raced, remembering the lessons of the core and the collaborative problem-solving with the alien scholars. "We need a layered approach," he said aloud. "We can combine human engineering principles with your bioenergy systems. Humans are good at improvisation. I can design adaptive channels that respond to the storm in real time. We'll need your technology to amplify and stabilize it." Melara tilted her head, glowing tendrils twitching thoughtfully. "Explain." Elias drew diagrams in the air, simple yet effective. "We create dynamic conduits that can redirect energy surges. Your systems provide power and stability, while human methods adjust flow based on real-time feedback. Together, we balance precision with adaptability. No single method alone can succeed." The alien scholars studied his proposal. Some whispered among themselves, their wings fluttering nervously, but Melara's eyes gleamed with approval. "It is a bold plan. Can humans execute it?" "I will lead the effort," Elias said, "and I will work with your best engineers and scholars. Together we can stabilize the city before the storm hits." Melara nodded. "Then begin. I place my trust in your kind." The next hours were a blur of action and coordination. Elias directed alien engineers, explaining human principles of redundancy, adaptive design, and feedback loops. At first, some were skeptical, reluctant to adjust centuries-old systems. But as he demonstrated small-scale adjustments, the energy conduits glowed brighter and steadied. Elias moved quickly, combining his understanding of alien energy flows with human logic. "Redirect this channel slightly," he instructed, pointing to a flow line that pulsed erratically. "The storm will hit here first. Balance it now, or overload is inevitable." The alien engineers worked in tandem, adjusting the channels as Elias guided them. Slowly, the city's energy grid began to stabilize. Light flowed evenly through the towers, the floating structures held steady, and the hum of the city became soothing rather than tense. Outside, the storm approached. Waves of plasma and energy streaked across space, crackling with destructive power. Yet from the observation platform, Elias could see the effects of their work. Shields held firm, energy conduits absorbed surges, and the city's systems adapted in real time. A tense moment passed as a massive surge hit the central hub. Lights flickered, and alarms sounded briefly, but Elias had anticipated this. He adjusted a control, signaling alien engineers to do the same. The surge redirected safely, and the city's systems returned to perfect balance. A cheer erupted from the alien scholars and engineers. Melara's eyes glowed brighter, and she extended a luminous tendril toward Elias. "You have done it," she said. "Not alone, but together. Humans and my people united in purpose." Elias felt a wave of relief and pride. "It was not me alone," he said. "Your people's knowledge, your systems combined with human adaptability, that is what saved the city." Melara's tendrils brushed lightly against his shoulder, a gesture of respect. "You have proven that your kind can rise to challenges without force, without fear. Your mind, your heart, your courage, they are worthy of trust." The storm passed over the city, leaving behind a clear sky filled with stars. The alien towers shimmered softly, glowing with vitality. Elias watched as life in the Hive City continued uninterrupted, the citizens moving gracefully through the light-filled corridors, unaware of how close they had come to disaster. "You see," Melara said, turning to him, "humans are capable of more than survival. You think, you adapt, you inspire. You are not only guests here, you are allies essential to our future." Elias bowed slightly humbled. "I am honored, Your Majesty, and I promise humans will continue to prove their worth." The Queen nodded. "And so they will. Today you have shown the potential of your kind. Tomorrow we will face new challenges together. You have earned the respect of my court and the trust of my people." As they walked back through the glowing corridors, Elias reflected on how far he had come. Just days ago, he had entered the citadel in shackles, uncertain if he would survive. Now he walked freely beside an alien queen, trusted and respected, a symbol of human ingenuity and courage. He remembered the whispers of doubt in the court, the skepticism of the alien scholars, and the fear he had once felt. All of it had been transformed into admiration and partnership. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were valued allies, capable of protecting and enhancing life in a universe far beyond their own. At the central plaza, citizens gathered, observing the Queen and Elias. Some moved closer, curious and cautious. Others watched silently, their glowing forms reflecting respect. Elias felt their attention, but he did not falter. This was humanity's moment, a chance to show that intelligence and heart could transcend species and worlds. Melara raised her voice so all could hear. "Let it be known," she said, "that humans have stood with us in our hour of need. They have not only survived, they have contributed, guided, and inspired. From this day forward, they are allies, trusted partners in thought and action." The crowd erupted into a chorus of light and sound, a celebration of unity and cooperation. Elias felt the Queen's hand, or tendril, rest lightly on his shoulder, and he realized how far he had come. Shackles had bound him, fear had held him, but understanding, courage, and ingenuity had freed him. He smiled. Humanity had always faced challenges, often underestimated and dismissed. But here, in a city beyond the stars, they had shown their true potential. Not through weapons or dominance, but through intellect, empathy, and collaboration. Melara looked at him, her glowing eyes full of pride and hope. "Walk with me, Elias. Together, humans and my people will face whatever comes next. We are stronger because we act as one." Elias nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty, together." The Hive City glowed around them, alive and vibrant. Stars sparkled above, a vast universe filled with possibilities. Elias realized that this was only the beginning, not just for humans but for interstellar cooperation. For the first time, he felt the full weight and wonder of humanity's place in the universe. They had been underestimated, doubted, and restrained. Yet, humans had proven they could rise above fear and expectation, creating solutions that no one else could. And in that moment, Elias understood something profound. Humanity's true strength lay not in force, but in thought, courage, and heart. He walked forward, side by side with the alien queen, into a universe that now recognized humans as equals, allies, and partners. And for the first time, the future seemed limitless. The shackles that had once bound him were gone. Humanity's potential, unshackled, had been revealed. I walked in shackled, but the alien queen stood up when she recognized my voice.